everybody. I had shown this, my design team project for the Misty Rose collection by Prima. I had shown some pictures on Facebook and had some people asking me for tutorials, and I was planning on doing it anyway, but I'm finally getting around to it. This is a really easy project that turns out very pretty. A lot of it's the paper that I've chosen or that I was given by Country Craft Creations, but it's a fast, easy project that I think you're going to love. So let me just show you real quick what it looks like. It is like a gatefold on the front. I have some seam binding to keep it closed. On this one, I put the seam binding at the doors at the front, but I'm going to put it on the back this time, I think, and wrap it around. I have some of the Prima flowers from the Misty Rose collection. I had a spray of some pearls. This is lace from the store, a butterfly. I have some gems. I went and got more of the collection because I love it so much. This seam binding, you know, she has every color that matches all of the papers. So you just untie it, and when you open it, the doors, there's different sets of doors. So we have, these are 3 inches on the sides, and then the next set of doors open. And then the last set of doors open. And then I just put a cut apart here to tuck something underneath. And there's this actually sits on top of 2 other papers. So the tags, they're inside of, there are 2 separate pockets in the back. And so the tags, I like how they stick out the top. I used some of the paper and I had a charm. On the back, I just put a little pocket and put some of the cut aparts because they're so cool. And then the other one, this paper is so awesome. The 12 by 12 has sparkle to it. You can see in the camera. I added some charms up at the top. And again, I put a pocket on the back and just put some of the cut aparts in there. So the cool thing about this is because of the 3 flaps on the side, it does stand up. So if you have pictures in there, you could set that on a desk or whatever. So you're going to be amazed at how easy. Oh, I dropped a pearl, so I'll have to tuck that back in. It's really super easy. So let's get through the cutting part of the base. You don't even need that much paper, so it's fabulous. So there, the base is going to, you need 3 sheets. One of them is 6 by 12, 6 by 11.5, and 6 by 11. Okay, so let me show you that. And then I added the 2 tags. So I already clipped the edges so that it looked like a tag. And then here's the second one that's smaller. And those are the bottom 2 measurements on this paper. So 4.5 by 8 and 4 by 7. Okay, so you can freeze that and look at the measurements if you need to. There's very little scoring. So let's get our scoreboards ready. And starting with the 12-inch, let me get my favorite scoring tool here. You are going to score at 3 inches, and then you'll turn it around and score at another 3 inches. So 3 inches, flip it around, 3 inches. And you're going to do that on all 3 pieces that we cut for the base. So the next one, we'll do the 11.5 inch piece. Score at 3 inches, turn it around, do 3 inches again. And third time's a charm. Let's go ahead and put the 11-inch piece across the top and score at 3 inches on each end. Okay. That is all the scoring. Can you believe it? Okay, so let's go ahead and burnish. Now I have to get my favorite burnishing tool. I fold so that the ridge or the mountain part is going to be folded into. And I just want to make sure that things line up as I am burnishing. Being it's paper, you can adjust it or move it as needed. Okay. Everything gets a good burnish. So there's the back piece. The biggest one's for the back. And I do have a shadow, and I apologize for that. I was looking on YouTube to see like about lighting for recording. And I have a light over here on my side, and it looks like I'm going to need a light on the other side, and that's what will prevent the shadow. So I need to find a light that has a long enough cord that I can do that. Now, when you burnish these, you're going to notice that there's a little bit of an overlap on this one. Okay, and that's the way it's supposed to be. And then there's going to be obviously a larger overlap on this one because it's a shorter piece of paper, and the doors are 3 inches on this one also. Okay. Make sure everything's lined up before you burnish. Okay. Now, I am going to put the decorative paper on before I do attach them. And so let me just tell you what's going to happen is you're going to be stacking these on top of one another and gluing it on 3 sides to allow for 2 pockets and to allow for the doors to close pretty well. So when you decide on the paper you want for the biggest piece on the back, it doesn't have to be your prettiest paper, because the only thing you're going to see really is the sides from when you glue the other piece on. Because this is the same height as the other ones, you don't really see this unless you choose to trim out this middle section and maybe take a little bit, like a ½ inch off just the center so that you can see the back. That's totally up to you. And then on the smallest one, if you want to take, 3/4 of an inch rectangle off from the center, then you can see that it's stacked. Okay, I did not do that on mine. So you'll see that it just looks like one piece. But if you want to see the paper behind, trim off a little bit of the black in the center. Not on the sides though, but I'm afraid that if you did that, you might get some floppy doors. So maybe that's not the best idea. I don't know. I'm not going to do it. So I already cut out my papers, my decorative papers, and kind of decided how I wanted to lay everything out. I cut everything 1/8 of an inch smaller. So what I did was, with this being this was the tag. Let me move this to the side. This was the tag that was 4 by 7. And so I cut my paper at 3 7/8 by 6 7/8. And then I'm just going to glue that together, one on top of the other. You know what, that doesn't look, let me trim that a little bit. I want to see a little black on the edge. Now I do ink the edges, and I've already inked all of them. Oops, and I got to do the edge again, hold on. Things I trimmed a little bit off. Now I got to ink that a little bit more. I think I accidentally cut the paper at 4/2 instead of 3 7/8. So anyway, so now you have a little bit of a border, and then I'm just going to take my hole punch, clip it, and then I'll put seam binding and a charm. Okay, so that's 1/8 of an inch shorter on both sides. So that's the paper I chose for the smaller tag. The larger tag was 4 1/2. So I cut my paper at 3 7/8 inches wide, and it was 8 inches tall. So I did 7 7/8. And I will go ahead and glue those together, punch a hole, and put seam binding in. So I can do that off camera and show you. Let's start with the biggest piece. Okay, this is my 12-inch piece. Don't put any decorative paper on the back if you're going to put your seam binding along the back to close it. Like I said, on the first one I did, I put the seam binding to close it on the front panel, but I think I would like it better wrapped around. I don't know. I'll just do one of each and see how I like it. Okay. Okay. So I have already cut out, like I said, my paper, and it's for the inside. I chose the green again. This is from the 6x6 pad, so the pattern's a little bit smaller. But like I said, when I glue this in, I'm only going to see the sides. Okay, so that's why I picked the 6x6 to use, so that I didn't use the stuff with the foil, because it would be kind of, to me, a waste. So that's what I'm going to put on the inside. So we can decorate the inside and the doors but let's just hold off on the back. So this inside panel measures 6 by 6. So I cut it 5 7/8 by 5 7/8. Okay. And so I was going to decorate off camera, but this is such a fast project. And like I said, the result is super awesome, I think. So let's go ahead and just do this together. And I am using the art glitter glue, and I've had people ask me where I get this, and I get my materials from countrycraftcreations.com. It's an online store that I'm a design team member for. And I've said it before, her shipping is super fast. So when you want to make something, you don't have to wait forever. You usually get it within 2 days. And her customer service is, you can't compete with it. She's got a heart of gold and she takes care of her customers. So, and I don't just say that. I mean, I say it because it's true. Okay, so back to this. So we're burnishing. I have a dry wet wipe so that if any glue comes out, I can wipe it off. You want to use a cheap wet wipe with very little linen so that it doesn't stick and have little pieces of lint. Okay, so that's my inside. And I've decided that for this one, I'm going to, what did I decide? I had them laid out, so let me find the ones. Did I want these? I think I wanted these. Okay. How did I want to do that? I think I was going to do this here. And then when you close the door, I was going to do this. So, okay. So because our doors are 3 by 6, you want 2 7/8 by 5 7/8. I ended up cutting 1, 2, 3, 4, let's see, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, like 10 sets, is that right? 6 sets, okay? 6 sets of 2 7/8 by 5 7/8. Already inked the edges. This comes together super fast. And I go ahead and use my art glitter glue. A little bit goes a long way. It does come with a needle, like needle nose tip to get a thin line. I do have a problem seeing on black paper, I've noticed. So sometimes I have to move it closer to my light, but I think I got that lined up pretty good. Now I do sometimes like, even though I love this paper and the pattern, I do like using this plain color so that I can add my decorations without it being too busy. So I can use some of the cut aparts or some of the ephemera and decorate it. Want to leave a lot of it open for writing, journaling, you know, small pictures. I have one of those printers for my phone so I can print pictures, and I think those are like 2 by 2.5 by 3. I don't know, something like that. So this little mini book album pocket thingy would actually be good for that size picture on these doors. Okay. Give it a good burnish. And I have a little excess glue. Okay. So now the front doors. So let's go ahead and this one I used from the 12 by 12 because there is some glitter. There's not glitter, some foil. And so I want that to be seen. Already inked the edges. I did use black soot for that. I go ahead. I think this would be a cool like bridal shower using this paper. I just love this paper. Great bridal shower type. It's not really a card. It's not really a mini album. I don't know what to call it. So I'll have to think about it before I upload this video so that I can type it up on YouTube, give it a name. If you have a creative idea, I can always go back and change it after I've uploaded it. So you can think of is it a gatefold mini pocket holder? I don't know. Okay. I'm just trying to show you how fast this can be done. Now, granted, I did my cutting before I got on camera, but even so, there's so many that you cut the same size that it is fast. Okay, and the other door. I'm having a hard time seeing on that black. Okay. All right. Okay, so the next one, remember, let's just leave the back open for right now. I hope I've been in camera. I haven't even been looking. The next one is the 11.5-inch piece. These are still 3-inch flaps, so you're still going to need 2 7/8 by 5 7/8. And so you kind of want to look to see, okay, what's going to look good. We're going to end up centering this on top of that back piece. So see, you can only see just a tiny little piece. So if you want to conserve paper, I mean, I covered this goes from top to bottom. So really you only need, heck, just cut out a 1-inch strip. Then you don't have to waste your whole piece. Because even when you pull the pocket open to put your tag in, you really don't see that much. So if you need to save paper, that's what you can do. So now, again, you won't see this very much. And I cut out, I think I did this one. Let me see if that's the right one. Yep. And so this measures a little bit different because it's smaller, the actual piece we started with. So this piece is 5 3/8 across and the 5 7/8 long. Okay, so 5 3/8 across. Like I said, I already inked my edges. So I'm going to go ahead and adhere that one. And I always got to check your cutting and measuring before you glue down because this glue does dry quickly and it is a tight seal, let me tell you that. So once it's down, it's down. Well, once it's dry, it's not coming back up. Okay. So let's center this. Make sure that you don't want to go over those score lines. That's a no-no. Then your flaps don't work right. Okay. Have a little bit of seepage of glue, so I've got to wipe that. Okay. The next two pieces, let's see, for the front and the back. What did I decide? I think I was going to do, okay, hold on, let me check. What did I think I was going to do? I think that way. Okay, so on the inside, I want to do these. Yeah, that's what I'm going to do. Okay. You're probably going to get tired of me saying it, but because I didn't write it down, I'm just going to repeat it in case you missed it. It's 2 7/8 across, 5 7/8 long, or tall. This one's going to go on the inside here. Make sure there's a border around so you can see that black paper. The black paper I'm using is the Artisan cardstock from Country Craft Creations. It's a linen based. It is wonderful. The thickness is just right. It doesn't crack. It doesn't get more perfect than that, let me tell you. And once you start using it, you know, it is more pricey. But when you're going to the time to make stuff, you want it to last, and this will definitely last. So you get what you pay for, and this is definitely worth every penny. I think that's upside down. Okay, looks centered. Where's my, there it is. Okay. And so then the next will be these pieces. Now these overlap a little bit. So which one? Am I gonna do it like that? Probably. Doesn't matter. Okay. So go ahead and adhere this one. So I've been really liking the papers that Prima's had out. If you haven't seen my other videos on my YouTube channel, I made a loaded envelope mini with the Flirty Flare by Prima. And when I first looked at it, I thought it was really pretty. Lots of foiling and, you know, it shines. I thought, is that me? But boy, once I put that book together, the colors, the black with it was so awesome. So, and I like really floral, feminine papers. I'm not really a country type person or, oh, I don't know, like cutesy stuff. I like pretty flowers, butterflies, pinks, mint greens. That's what I like. Vintage. I love vintage and laces. I just saw that Tammy is now going to be carrying some, okay, I don't know the proper way to say it. I don't know if it's Stamperia or Stamperia. I think it's probably Stamperia. Some of their paper lines, and oh my goodness, when she was showing examples, I was drooling like a crazy woman. It is just awesome paper. And oh, that's not straight. There we go. Ooh, got it before it dried. Okay. Now, when you close these pages, you go every other page to close it because there's overlap. And so because I have my butterfly cut, I want to make sure that I put, what the heck there, this side in first, and then that'll be on top. So, okay, so now we just have one more, and this is our smallest piece. So again, this will get centered on top of this one. So you'll just see these sides. So again, save paper, just do 1 inch if you want of decorative paper. This inside you're going to see. So I wanted to make sure I picked a paper that I really liked. And so I picked this one because there's foil on it and it's really pretty. And it's kind of empty down here. So if I want to add something at the bottom, like a tuck spot or something, it won't cover up the really pretty stuff. This one measured, I don't remember. Oh, this one. This measured 4 7/8 across. So 4 7/8 by the 5 7/8. I'm going to move those. And my glue on here. I'm really anxious to see how long this video takes. I think it'll be one of my fastest ones and be one of the projects that I really like that I've done. You know, I think we all have projects. Some are good, some are just okay. I like a project that is beautiful and time is not like going to take my whole weekend, because when during the school year, I don't have time during the week. I'm doing school work. So I just craft on the weekends. So I need to make sure I make things that are beautiful and fast. All right. All right, so on the inside, what did I decide? I'm doing these. Ugh, I love this paper. This one, oh, so pretty. And I think it goes like this. Okay. Oh, look at all that floral. Oh, love it, love it. All right. And before, on the other one I made this, I had this green floral paper on the outside, and oh, it looked really good. So I wanted to do something different. Otherwise, I would have made this the outside again because I just love it so much. But I want to see what it looks like with a different paper on the outside. Okay. So this is actually Labor Day weekend. I get a 3-day weekend. And I made sure I stayed late at work and brought work home every day just so that I could have a work-free weekend, a 3-day weekend, and all I want to do is craft. Now, I do have to do some housework, which I've kind of put, I have a good husband who helps out a lot, but I need to get some laundry done and some deep cleaning, not just surface cleaning. So I don't look forward to it, but it's got to get done. But so I'm going to craft and clean, it looks like. Okay. Give it a good burnish. See how fast this is? Okay, and so I decided that I wanted my front covers to have this on the front. Okay, so I'm excited to see what that looks like, because I still plan on putting some lace on the front. So I think you'll be able to see the lace or the pattern paper through the lace real well, because this is a real bright, vibrant pink. So I'm anxious to see. The decorating is totally my most exciting part. I think I've said before, I used to be really intimidated about doing the cover, and I'd get a book done and it would just sit there and sit there and sit there as I was thinking, okay, what can I do to the cover? I don't want to ruin the book. And it's weird how now that's one of my favorite things to do. It just makes everything come together. And now I will tell you, I'm not a big one on making my own embellishments. It's not that I'm lazy, but to me, I just think it's so much faster, and I don't know. I do make some, but I've thought about having a challenge and, you know, offer up some fabulous prizes for people just to make me some embellished, like flowers. I love flowers, but I always buy them. I don't make them. And I like the flowers that have like doilies and lace and, I don't know, sparkle. So maybe I'll do that. And I'm willing to have a giveaway for people to help me with my embellishing. Then it looks different from everybody's. You know, everybody purchases them. Then having your own that you make yourself kind of makes it special. My friend, who is also on the design team for Country Card Creations, her name is Elizabeth, and she is new. She makes really pretty flowers. She sent me some of her roses, and she does a nice job. And she's made some hearts and different things. You know what? I'm really dumb. No, I'm not. Yes, I am. This is not the outside cover. Dang it. Look, that's the inside cover. What was I thinking? Well, I'm just going to have to... This is my outside. Ugh. I was totally not thinking about that one. Ooh, to me that's boring. I wanted a floral. Well, what can I do? I could add another strip, like a center. You know what? I'm going to probably end up doing that, because I don't think this is very exciting. Maybe I'll cut a smaller rectangle and put on the inside, and I'll do that off camera. I wasn't paying attention, I guess. I was trying to go too fast. Okay, so let's put our book together. So take the middle piece, that's going to go on first. And we're going to put score tape on 3 sides. Okay, and then so the top will be open. And I'm going to use the 1/4 inch, and I want to put it as close to the edges as possible. And I do not want to go over the score line. Okay, and again, it is hard for me to see on this black paper, but I don't think I'm going over the score line. Okay, one more side. I am just irritated at myself for not thinking that through better. I want prettier paper on the outside. Okay, go ahead and burnish so that that stays, and when we take the backing off, we want the glue from the tape to be real strong. And while we're doing that, we might as well do the smallest piece also. So this is my smallest piece. Look how pretty that should totally have been the outside. Whatever. Okay, I already did it. So again, don't go over any score lines, but put it close to the edge. 3 sides, leave the top open. Now, a lot of people like to use glue because they say that, oh, then, you know, your tags stick to the score tape. My tags are small enough that they don't bump up against it and stick. So I just thought it would be more secure for this, for some reason, to use score tape. Okay. So we are going to, it's easier to do this with this being closed. I hope I've been in frame. I keep looking, I think I'm down too low. So we're going to center it. The top and the bottom will be right on top of each other, but you want the same distance showing on each side, because remember that this is a little bit smaller. So we just want to make sure we can eyeball it and see. Okay, so now I'm going to remove the backing. Keeping the doors closed, I'm going to look at the bottom. Oh, I got to look at it closer because my eyes with this dark paper is not good. Okay. And now the small one. And now we're going to, when we put this one on, we want the doors closed and we'll adhere it like so. Okay. Ooh, that's pretty on the inside. Okay, so every other. Okay, so now the back, I have a piece of 5 7/8 by 5 7/8, and this is going to go back here. However, we do want to put our seam binding down first. So let me see what color I have. So I really like that green. What do I want to do, people? Before I decide on the seam binding, I kind of need to decide what I'm going to. I feel like I need green. Yeah. I don't want to do another green one though. I have this, but that doesn't have any pattern. I want florals. I'm probably going to use the green. Maybe once I get the flowers and so I bought the ephemera. You know what? I'm not going to add. I'll make it work. I will deal with it. So, I think I want my lighter pink. So I'll use my lighter pink. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to look at I'd rather cut too much than not enough. So I'm going to go ahead and snip a piece. Now you can do 2 pieces. Like if you want this to start it here and glue it and then have another piece here and glue it, I'm just going to wrap it all the way around like so. And I'm going to center it. And I'm just going to eyeball it. And I think this is about the center. Find this. Okay. Okay. And now I will adhere my backing, my back piece. Okay. And looks good. Make sure it's on real good. And then I'm going to go ahead and finish the decorating off camera, and then I'll come back and show you what it looks like. That is such pretty paper. So remember, you're going to do every other side. Go from one side to the other. And then I'm going to go ahead and tie this because that will help me decide how to decorate. So I'll tie that while I'm decorating so it doesn't interfere with anything. I'll be gluing these together, but you now have two pockets. And so you just kind of pull them apart and stick your tags in there. Okay, so there are two pockets. All right, so let me go and finish my decorating and I'll show you what it looks like. All right, here is the finished one, the second one. I did end up cutting off the seam binding on the back and just tied it in the front because the decorations I had on the front, I didn't want them to get messed up. So this, let me get it going here. So this is what the front looks like. I had an applique that I put on there. Oh, that's terrible. Hold on. Let me zoom out. Maybe that will help. Maybe that's too much. Hold on. Hopefully you can see that. So anyway, I had an applique, some flowers. This green, I got this from a D-stash. I don't remember, but it's really pretty because it has some pearls in it too. I had a butterfly, put a couple of gemstones or, you know, the glitter dots on there. When you open it, because I ended up putting the seam binding on the inside, I covered it with some ephemera, ephemera backed on black paper, just a flower, put the word lively down here. This is a little ticket stub. This is a cut of a 3x4 card with a piece of ephemera taped on or glued on. And then I have the two tags. The first tag I had a bling. It has pink on it. That's pretty. And then on the second one, I went ahead and put some beads and a little silver charm that says inspire. So I think they turn out super cute and they're super fast. And it was easy to fix. Like I didn't want the seam binding around the back. I wanted it in the front, and it was easy to cover that up and change that. So everything worked out fine in the end. I hope that you enjoyed this fast project. I think the paper makes it beautiful, and I think anybody would enjoy getting this with some pictures in it, sentiment, you know, writing something in it. But that's that one, and then here was the first one. So you decide which one you like better. I probably like the first one because of that green cover, but anyway, thanks for watching, and go to countrycraftcreations.com for this paper, the seam binding, the flowers to match the collection, this beautiful trim, and I appreciate you watching. If you haven't subscribed already, please do, and have a great evening and a great weekend. Thank you. Bye.